this is Chris. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to Popcorn Finance, the show where we discuss finance in about the time it takes to make a bag of popcorn. As always, I appreciate you all coming back and joining me for another episode. And one thing I really enjoy is hearing how other people manage their money, because there's so many ways that you can approach this thing. There's no one answer to teach you how to master your finances. There's so many ways to get to the same result. So I always love hearing how other people keep their spending and their budget under control. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in today's interview. But before we hop into that, I want to say a big thanks to Instacart for bringing you all today's bag of popcorn. Instacart makes it possible to have your groceries delivered quickly to your home. And right now they are looking for shoppers. Becoming an Instacart shopper is great for anyone looking to make a little extra cash in your free time. They offer flexible schedules that allow you to work when it is convenient to you, whether that's on weekends, weekdays, or after school or work. So if you've been looking for a new side hustle to bring in some extra cash on your own schedule, head on over to popcornfinance.com/Instacart to learn more and sign up. Again, that's popcornfinance.com/Instacart. So in today's episode, we'll be hearing from Glenn James from My Millennial Money, and he'll be sharing a rule that he uses to allow himself to spend money on the things he enjoys while not going broke in the process. We're sitting in the middle of a gigantic expo hall on some beach furniture, or I guess patio furniture, I guess you can call it. And I'm joined by Glenn James. He's the host of the My Millennial Money podcast. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Really good.
Hey, I appreciate you being here. Taking some time out of your busy schedule, being the host of the #1 personal finance podcast in Australia, I'm honored that you decided to just sit here with me when you could be, doing whatever it is you want to do. So thank you.
Thank you for having me on your fake lawn and your cheap outdoor setting.
You're welcome. I laid out this new grass just for you.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I'll probably get a rash from laying on it. But
yeah, don't touch it with your bare skin.
Yeah, that's right.
No, hey, I appreciate it. I've been following along with you since the last time we talked.
And I must say, last time when I had you on my show, you were the most popular.
Really?
Most popular episode. Everyone loved you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I was worried because I was telling everyone, when I found out you're an accountant, I'm like, hang on, stop the show. You're an accountant. I don't have accountants on here. And it's like, you were funny. And it's, it was the most popular one that I recorded in the States last year. So.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm honored. We connected a little bit before the conference. And you do an interesting thing with percentages when it comes to your money. And there's a specific 1% rule that you have going on that I want to know a little more about.
So it's important in our life, whether it's our money, our lifestyle, our philosophy, our thoughts, to have some type of logic or something to hang our hat on that's relative to our situation, right? When we talk about money, usually somebody is a spender or a saver with their money, right?
True.
I happen to be not a spender. I'm further along. I'm an out-of-control lunatic, right? So I'm probably the only financial advisor who's got a spending problem, right? Being a spender comes with its own problems and its joy, right?
Yeah.
So what I've had to do in my life is put systems in place based on some logic that will help me govern my spending, okay? And one of them is the 1% rule. And I came up with this rule for my life, and whenever I speak on my podcast or on a podcast like yours, I think it's important to give people a practical grab that they can implement tomorrow in their financial life.
I like that.
There's a huge department store in Sydney, Australia called David Jones. It's a national chain, and it'd be like your, I guess, Nordstrom or something like that, right?
Okay.
So big department store. Anyway, I went there with some friends, and I got home, and I had an Apple Watch with me, okay? And I think it was $1,200 or $1,300. And I thought, hang on, this is a problem, because that morning I didn't wake up with a plan to buy an Apple Watch with over $1,000, right? So it was a total impulse buy. So I thought I need some type of rule to help me with my spending and overspending, right? So what I tell people to do is take your yearly gross income. So if someone out there listening is earning $60,000 per year, right? 1% of that, $600.
Yeah, okay.
I would say that $600 is your threshold that you do not spend anything on an impulse over $600 without sleeping on it.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Now, that's just a guide. If you're earning $2 million a year, probably not going to work for you. But I would say it's probably a good rule for anyone earning under $200,000 because it's relative. So maybe get a calculator out and just work out a bit of a rule. Someone might like to call it the 0.5% rule or the 1% of their take-home income, not gross income. I like to have that as the governing rule with my spending.
I like that because, you give yourself a guideline.
Totally.
And you can customize, like you said. It doesn't have to be 1%. It can be 0.5%, 2%, whatever works for you. But just the act of setting that guideline for yourself allows you to have some type of checkpoint, a mental checkpoint. You're
Sure.
like, okay, I need to stop myself here because you have something that's like easy to remember. So I like that.
It's almost similar. Remember the old story where people would get the credit card and they would put it in the freezer in a container full of water, and they would have the credit card frozen.
Yeah.
And if they wanted something from the shop, they would have to go home, unthaw it, and and oh no, I don't actually need this. It's ridiculous. I think the 1% is just a good guide like that to hose you down to get out of the moment.
Yeah, it's like a speed bump. It's something that makes you just slow down. You're like, oh, okay, wait, I need to think a little bit more about this.
And I might even say, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the way I run my own personal finance, I've got a card in my wallet. It's just a Visa debit card. I call it my blow account, where I put money in there each week just to blow.
Yeah.
So food, entertainment, fuel, my blow account, regardless of whether I get paid fortnightly or, as you Americans say, bi-weekly.
Thank you for the translation.
Thank you. Fortnightly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever your pay cycle is, always transfer an amount to your blow account every week. Now, maybe, and I'm just thinking my own personal situation, I only live off 1% of my gross income in my blow account. It might be a good idea to cap that as your weekly blow money.
So instead of just having this dollar marker that you're looking for, just say, I'm going to put 1% into this account, and that's only what I'm going to spend.
Yeah.
That's another take on it. So I like that.
Yeah. And I just thought of it. It's not gospel because I just thought of it then. But
it's my idea now that it's on the show. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a good little grab that because I think for me, winning at personal finance, it all starts at the shop counter. It all starts at the grocery counter. It all starts, with our entertainment. It all starts with our consumer stuff.
Yeah.
So if we can limit that, we can win the day. If we can win the day, we can win the weeks. If we can win the weeks, we can win the months. And then the rest is history.
I love that point. I think that's a great point to end on there. So hopefully if you're listening to this, you say, okay, maybe I don't want to write down everything I spend, but I like having these little keys, these little markers, these things I can do to simplify things and make it easier to deal with.
And I would say, the stuff that I teach and maybe the advice you give, we've just found a way that works. It's not the way.
Exactly.
It sounds really weird, but I tell people, you've got to find your A way.
Yeah.
And have some logic behind it. We've got a brain. We're allowed to use it.
Yeah, exactly. You do what works for you. Think outside of the box. Find what's going to work for you.
Totally.
So, hey, Glenn, I really appreciate you being here.
No worries. Thank you so much. I think that popcorn is well and truly popped.
There's multiple bags. There's multiple bags of popcorn this time around.
I've got a question for you. Is there anything worse than the smell of burnt popcorn in your microwave?
It is one of the worst things possible. That's why for these interviews, I make sure I take it out of the microwave, put a fresh bag in. We don't want to smell up the whole place. I appreciate it. Glenn, where can people find out more about you, more about your show?
So the best way to get us is on Instagram at My Millennial Money, or you can type in My Millennial Money to Apple Podcasts. I mean, have a listen. Chris's show, I like your show because it's short and fast, and it's really practical. Where my podcast, there's 3 of us. It's a bit of an infotainment. Yeah. It is Australian, so some of the things we talk about won't be relevant to your American listeners. But like anything, the key concepts should be the same.
And I think it's fascinating. I love hearing about the way money is handled and talked about in other countries. So yeah, definitely, I think it's worth a look or listen, just to even kind of get a different perspective and different look at what's going on in the world. So thank you, I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, enjoy the rest of the lounge
outdoor
and,
setting. Yeah, we'll have to get a photo.
All right, take care,
mate.
Yeah, boy, keep it poppin' like Mary Poppins.